So, hello. Well, today I'd like to take a look at these things, which are Brooke Bond tea cards. It might sound very weird, but back in the 60s, Brooke Bond, which was a manufacturer of British tea, I say hello, have a cup of tea, old chap. Would what they used to do to kind of promote people to buy their tea was I guess they got an interest, mainly aimed at children, I presume, and adults perhaps alike. But what they did is they got you to collect the tea cards. They used to put in each pack of tea had tea cards in it, so you get one in each pack, and then you could effectively order the catalogue. I mean, you can see how old they are because it says price sixpence, so it's pre-decimalisation. In the UK, in 1971, everything was decimalised, so pounds, shillings, and pence became pennies, and pounds, as it were. But no, there's some nice items here. Obviously, you won't have time to go through every single thing. But there's one there: flags, emblems of the world. And this one's later, obviously, because it says 5 pence. The sea, our other world. So, again, you've got the cards in there, and you've got sort of such luminaries of the day that were famous of that time. And, well, it was just interesting to collect, which I did. I did collect these cards. And as Jacques Cousteau. And so there's that one, isn't it? History of aviation, and of course there's the Red Baron's aircraft on the cover of that. Again, 5 pence. Some of these cards are coming out. I've got to be quite careful. But it was great fun collecting them. My grandma used to collect them for me. Well, both my grandmas used to collect them for me. So I had a kind of a furious input, There's a Supermarine Spitfire there. And, very interesting. Oh, there's the Messerschmitt 262, one of the earliest jets, and obviously the Dam Busters raid for with the Lancaster, Avro Lancaster bomber. I was trying to find Dorota Baron, but he seems to have nipped off it, hasn't he? He's cleared off it, hasn't he? Like he often used to do, the clever little monkey. He never got into heavy combat, the Red Baron. If he thought he couldn't do it, he'd just leg it. No, he's not going to appear. Sadly, he's not going to turn up, is he? I could have sworn I saw it in there though. Anyway, I'm wasting time now, aren't I? One last perusal. There's the Wright brothers, the winged flapper, whatever it was called, the winged glider. I've got to be very careful because I don't want these cars to fall out. Oh, there he is. Sorry, that's him there. Manfred Freihaven Richthofen. I knew I'd seen him somewhere. I sometimes think I'm going mad. Well, I am going mad, but I have to prove to myself sometimes that I'm not. Adventures in Explorers was another cracker that I remember. They kind of came out in well, the tea was in like a sort of a tallish box, and they kind of had series of these things coming out. They weren't just random. There was a series of you were specifically collecting Adventures in Explorers at that time. 5 pence again. So the race into space, of course, back in the sort of 70s, it was all still very current and very interesting. Not all of these did I have the full collection, I must say. The majority of them I did manage to get the full collection of, thanks to the kindness of my grandmas, who as I say, they're probably passing out on tannin, drinking all the tea to help me collect these things. Inventors and Inventions is another cracking one. Yeah, I remember a very funny joke about some, I can't remember was it Edward Jenner who invented the reaping machine or something like that? And anyway, some kid wrote in his exam, he even spelt the word reaping, and he said, yes, whoever invented the machine, he invented a raping machine that did the work of 10 men. I had to laugh. I know I shouldn't be laughing at things like that, but that's my sense of humour as well. You'll probably know. It's not normal. I'm not normal. Well, it's all good, baby. So now that's a good one. This was another cracker. I like them a lot. Here's one that was very specific to me, particular interest. Again, it's an old one, sixpence. The history of the motor car. And I loved cars. Well, I still do, but I'm sort of like more on bicycles now. But there's some lovely cars in here. As I say, each one was glued in, hand glued. I remember my gran and I gluing them in. You know, we took a lot of time to do it. It was very specific with flour and water paste. We did it. And famous people. Obviously, these are of a day. Famous people sort of the UK as well. I mean, I don't think they pretty much went anywhere else. They just sort of, but I remember collecting all of these, and as I say, some of them are complete. There's Robert Scott of the Antarctic. Yeah, amazing. Really, there's Monty from Montgomery, Field Marshal Viscount Montgomery of Alamein. My old dad had a book of his. The Saga of Ships. You know, another one I remember vividly. Well, I don't know how I remember them because I can't remember what I had for breakfast today. But I remember doing all this, and I remember my gran, as I say, helping me paste these things into these bits and bobs. So these ones probably didn't have any. These were sent off, but I have a feeling 8p. You see, that's later, 8p. And I have a feeling that my gran had died by then, which is why there aren't any cards in it, because my gran didn't collect them for me because she was in a wooden overcoat, unfortunately. And that's how it often goes in life, isn't it? Play better soccer. Now, these weren't put in. A lot of these weren't glued in. Again, things were slacking off, so I imagine I was probably getting older as well, and lost interest in the T cards. But this is what they looked like. You know, that was what they looked like when they weren't glued in. Obviously, when you glue them in, they glued in, innit? But there's more. Come here, there's more. But yeah, these cards aren't obviously glued, so I imagine by then I'd lost interest in it, or as I say, my old gran had kicked the proverbial bucket sort of thing, and that was the end of that. But there's somebody was obviously collecting, probably my mum or my dad or somebody like that. And then there's Vanishing Wildlife. A lot like me, I'm vanishing slowly over time, innit? But again, it's got nothing in it, you see. So somebody sent off for it, but they didn't get the cards. So that's how it looked. Something's fallen out of it. Yeah, upside down. G'day, mate. How's it going? But that was the rundown. That was the collection. You could collect them. So there are all the collectible T card things. I think in the end you could send off for them. I think that what they do is they instead of collecting them, you could just like send off for them all, yeah. And you could have a collection the sort of the easy way. That fell out of it. Picture cut. Oh, it's another of these. You know, what's available sort of thing. So you'd fill that all in and then send it off in it. So it was all good. But no, I actually collected my prehistoric animals. So that I remember collecting. Well, they're not all there though, see? Because they weren't all there. We didn't get them all. I mean, it was very, you know, there's only so much tea you can drink. Really, there is, before you start going into convulsions, you know. This was an old one. I remember collecting this one, Transport Through the Ages. I never got number 1. That always irritated me. I don't know why. I just hacked off about that. I thought, no, I could never get T card number 1. Of course, what happened was, when you collected doubles, you would swap with friends. You'd trade them at school, and you'd say, well, I've got, kayak twice, and I haven't got horse barge sort of thing. So your mate would say, well, I've got horse barge twice, so then you'd change them. You'd swap them. It's called swapping. Nowadays, it's called wife swapping. I'm joking. But, oh look, Donald Campbell's Bluebird CN7. Wonderful. 403.1 miles per hour on the Utah, Lake Eyre. It was at Lake Eyre. It crashed on Utah, and he then took it to Lake Eyre in Australia, and successfully got the land speed record. So I hope you found this of some interest. I certainly, it's an old blast down memory lane for me. That's a fact. Yeah, I found these when my dad died. Obviously, he kept them for me in a suitcase with a load of other stuff. So I brought them over here to Poland and thought, why not? Anyway, no dog today, no Jimmy. It's Easter Day, so he's gone down to the family with my ex-wife because he likes meeting people and I don't. Anyway, cheers. Thanks ever so much for watching. All the very best.